Overall, we are seeing that organizations are really trying to balance today's realities with tomorrow's demands. So, this really does suggest that organizations understand where the future is headed.
Because at its core, it's about helping people work through complex issues together.
Hi there, I'm Sarah Dobson, Managing Editor at Canadian HR Reporter. Today, I'm pleased to be speaking with Queen's University's Industrial Relations Center, winner of two 2026 Reader's Choice Awards for Labor Relations Training and Leadership and Team Development. Joining me are Jennifer McGann, Program Team Manager, and Lindsay Van Zuylen, Sales and Marketing Manager. So welcome.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here today.
Let's get started. Lindsay, can you talk about some of the top HR trends that have emerged in your report for 2026?
So, this was actually the second year in a row where Queen's IRC has taken a pulse at the issues that are really shaping workplaces across Canada through our HR Trends report. Particularly, this year's findings were based on feedback that we received from more than 500 HR and labor relations professionals from a variety of industries and sectors across Canada. And what particularly was valuable was that the report captured perspectives from both the management and union representatives, which really gave us a well rounded view of the opportunities and challenges that organizations are facing today. And for us as an organization with labor relations, and organizational leaders across Canada, many of the findings were reflected in conversations that we are having every day in our classroom, in webinars that we hold, in custom programs that we deliver for organizations, as well as industry partnerships. So, what really stood out for us from this year's findings is that organizations are increasingly recognizing that today's workplace challenges can't just be solved through short-term initiatives alone. Rather, they're focusing on building a stronger labor leadership capabilities, as well as more resilient workplace cultures, and then the skills needed to really be able to adapt to future change. So, leadership development did emerge as the top HR priority for this year, while succession planning and leadership pipelines were also identified among the top organizational challenges. And this really tells us that organizations do understand the importance of developing future leaders. However, many are still really working to build those systems and their talent pipelines that are needed to support that longer term success. And that's something, again, that we are seeing reflected not only in the research that we're doing, but also in the growing demand that we have for programs as organizations are preparing their leaders to navigate the increasing complexity of the workplace today. In addition, we've also saw that employee engagement remained a major focus in the report. In fact, one of the more interesting findings that we found was that organizations identified employee engagement improvements as one of their top successes, yet sustaining that engagement and morale was also the number one challenge. So that tells us that organizations have made progress, but then also maintaining that engagement over the long term does remain quite difficult. We also saw that labor relations emerged as a significant priority, ranking among the top three HR priorities for this year. So, as workplaces are continuing to evolve, organizations are recognizing the importance of really maintaining those strong labor management relationships to help support the stability, trust, and organizational change. And finally, it is impossible for us to not have a conversation about what the future of work looks like without talking about AI. So it's already influencing how we work, how we communicate, make decisions, both in our professional and personal lives. And so while many organizations see data analytics and AI as critical to the future of HR, in the report, we did find that only 6% reported extensive adoption of automation and AI, and only 9% have fully developed AI governance frameworks in place in their organizations. So this really does suggest that organizations understand where the future is headed. However, many are still really building those skills and policies and governance that are needed in order to get them there. Overall, we are seeing that organizations are really trying to balance today's realities with tomorrow's demands. So, whether that's through their leadership development, employee engagement, their labor relations, or AI, a common thread really is that need to build stronger organizational capabilities and prepare workforces for this continuing change. And so that's exactly why organizations continue to invest in professional development and leadership learning, really helping their employees and their people to build those skills needed to navigate the increasing complexity in the future.
Okay, some good insights there. Further to the AI results that you saw, can you talk about what kind of impact it's having on workplaces today and how organizations can better prepare?
Yeah, so I think one of the sort of biggest misconceptions often is that AI is purely a technology conversation. And so, what we are seeing in workplaces from feedback that we've received from the people whom we're working with, our facilitators who are industry leaders, and then just general conversations too that we're having with others in industry is that AI really is a conversation about people, leadership, and organizational change. It's really already influencing how work gets done, how decisions are being made, and then how organizations are thinking about productivity, skill development, and then future workforce planning as well. Leaders are asking some really important questions too. Questions like how will jobs evolve over time? Um, what skills will employees need for the future? How do we then support employees through this change? There's also lots of conversation about the balance of innovation with ethics and governance and trust. And so at Queen's IRC, we've been hearing all of these questions consistently being asked through our research, our industry partners, our conference participation, and just general conversations across Canada. And so that's one reason why we've chosen to develop our new AI powered workforce planning program, where organizations aren't just looking to understand the technology itself. They wanted to really have practical guidance on workforce planning, the skills development behind it, organizational design, and then that leadership readiness in that AI enabled environment. So, one thing we've noticed is that organizations are becoming less concerned about whether AI will impact their workplace and more concerned about really how to prepare their people for that impact. And that's where HR and organizational leaders have this critical role to play. So, when it comes to preparing them for what's ahead, our advice here at the IRC is to really start with your people, not the technology. Investing in that skill development, really helping your leaders to build that confidence in managing change, in establishing governance and ethical guidelines, and then engaging your employees really in that conversation early. AI shouldn't just be about your workforce strategy. It should be a way to help the people to be able to drive it. Organizations that will be most successful won't necessarily be the ones that are adopting AI the fastest, but they'll be the ones who are really thoughtfully aligning that technology with their people and business objectives while they're building that trust and leadership capacity and workforce readiness needed to be able to adapt as AI continues to evolve.
Yes, that people component is so important to the AI side of things. So, Jennifer, over to you. Can you talk about why labor relations education is still so important and what makes the approach at Queen's IRC so unique?
Yeah, so labor relations education remains incredibly important because at its core, it's about helping people work through complex issues together. So even as workplaces evolve, organizations still need leaders who can navigate conflict, build trust, communicate effectively, and find solutions that balance organizational objectives with employee needs. So today we're seeing organizations manage everything from workforce shortages to new technologies and shifting employee expectations. So successfully managing those challenges often requires collaboration between management, employees, and unions. Uh, so this is what makes strong labor relation knowledge and skills more important than ever. What makes Queen's IRC unique is that labor relations has been at the heart of what we do for nearly 90 years. It's one of our core areas of expertise, and we're one of the few institutions in Canada that continues to offer such comprehensive range of labor relations programming. Another distinguishing feature of our approach is that we intentionally bring together participants from both union and management backgrounds into the same learning environment. So that balanced perspective really creates rich discussions that allow participants to better understand different viewpoints, different priorities, and the challenges that they all have. So in many cases, they're actually learning alongside the very people that they may one day be negotiating with or collaborating with in the workplace in the future. Um, our programs are highly practical. So participants are working through realistic case studies, simulations, and hands on experience that mirror the challenges that they're actually going to face or are currently facing in their own organizations. So that practical application is helping bridge the gap between theory and real world practice. It's one of the reasons that we believe we've been recognized with the HRD Reader's Choice Award for Best Labor Relations Training for 13 consecutive years. Participants trust us. They consistently tell us that learning alongside people with different perspectives helps them become more effective communicators, stronger negotiators, and most importantly, I think, confident workplace leaders, people who feel like they know what they need to know and they're able to hit the right ground running after they're in one of our programs.
Very impressive. Well, can you talk about how Queen's IRC has also worked to make professional development more accessible for today's busy professional?
Accessibility has really become one of the most important considerations in professional development because today's professionals are balancing demanding careers, family responsibilities. They have a lot going on in their lives. And we recognize that if learning isn't flexible, relevant, or immediately applicable, it can be difficult for people to invest the time. So, what we focused on is making our programs accessible in a number of ways. Today, nearly all of our programs are offered in both virtual and in person formats, and we deliver programs across Canada to help reduce geographic barriers. We've also introduced flexible certificate pathways. We've secured pre approved continuing professional development. And we've expanded our digital credential program, which has now issued close to 6,000 credentials. So for us, accessibility goes far beyond making programs easier to attend. It's also about making learning easier to apply. So our programs are intentionally designed around real workplace challenges rather than theory alone. Participants, as I mentioned before, are engaging in simulations, case studies, role playing exercises alongside facilitated discussions. And these all reflect the situations that they are facing every day. So, whether it's collective bargaining simulation, workplace investigation exercises, or a conflict resolution scenario, participants have an opportunity to practice those skills in a safe environment before applying them in their workplace. We also place a strong emphasis on peer learning. So, one of the unique aspects of Queen's IRC is that participants learn alongside professionals from a wide variety of industries and sectors. Those conversations often become just as valuable as the formal curriculum because participants leave with practical insights. They have new ideas and they have a broader network of colleagues that they can reach out to. Ultimately, our goal is to make high quality professional development training both accessible and impactful. So we want our participants to leave not only with new knowledge, but with practical tools. We want them to have greater confidence and strategies that they can put into place and into action immediately. We believe that's one of the reasons we've been recognized with the Reader's Choice Award, Labor Relations Training for 13 years. Participants consistently tell us that learning alongside people with different perspectives helps them become more effective communicators, stronger negotiators, and more confident workplace leaders.
Great. Well, thanks so much for speaking to me today to share some of the great initiatives that make Queen's IRC a Reader's Choice winner. And for more great video content, be sure to check out hrreporter.com.